Thank you everyone for coming. I am so excited for this session. We have some great AI experts here on stage, and I'll just let them introduce themselves, but we'll have some Q&A at the end, and I'll be a little mic runner. So raise your hand high if you have questions. Thanks.
Thanks, Flo. All right, we're here to talk about AI. I'm Christy Rowley. I'm Domo's principal data scientist. I'm also the senior director of our AI labs team. We're a research and development team. We help build Domo product around AI, and we also work with customers on custom AI solutions. I've been doing this for about 30 years now, but I've been at Domo for 7. And I get to introduce you to some of the coolest people at Domo right here, some of my most favorite people to work with. We'll start with Brennan, and we'll go on down the line. If you'll each introduce yourselves, that would be great.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Brennan Barney. I'm Director of Engineering for Domo Labs. And Domo Labs really is at the tip of the spear with most of the AI innovation in our product. So it's been super fun the last few years working on a lot of the products that we're going to talk about today.
Thanks, Brennan. I'm Vishaka, Senior Data Scientist and a Team Lead at AI Labs. What I get to do at my day-to-day job is to help customers, Domo customers, leverage their full power of their data using Domo AI, and also get to work with these wonderful engineers to incorporate your feedback back into the product.
Hi, my name is Joe Clark. I'm software architect on the labs team and the lead architect for the AI service layer and model management, among a few other projects that we own. Really excited to be here and continue to help building projects that both enable AI solutions within Domo, but also help you build on top of our platform and build those custom AI and ML experiences that I know you all have.
I'm Nathan Enderle. I lead Domo's AI sales practice, so I'm mostly on the front lines with customers as they have AI-related initiatives, helping them think conceptually about it, and then ultimately trying to plan out a project that we think we can deliver successfully. So excited to be here with all you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nolan Landefeld. I'm a senior software engineer and team lead. I've been working with our AI team in specific, and I've been at Domo for about 9 years, so it's been really exciting to kind of see how AI is coming to Domo and where we're going with it.
Thanks, everybody. I have been meeting with a lot of customers this week and even prior to this week and talking about AI, doing a lot of conversations about AI. And one of the things that keeps coming up over and over again is this idea of what really is AI. ChatGPT helps us think that AI is a chatbot, but that's not all AI is. We've been doing AI for 30 years or longer. A friend of mine recently posited that the first AI was the sundial. You build a piece of hardware and it just automatically takes time. So there you go. AI might be thousands of years old if you look at it from that perspective. So the first thing I would like to ask our panelists, given that you all have a different take on this, given your individual roles, is what to you is AI?
Yeah, I'll kick us off here. So in my opinion, AI is any sort of automated process that makes an intelligent decision. So even something like spell check, to where it is taking some sort of input and making a decision to give you back, potential fixes.
It's broad. I do think that we need to conceptualize what AI tools are best suited for the job you're asking them to do, and that helps you kind of build a solution that's more compound, it accounts for more things, and you can use the right tool for the right job.
And to me, it's really being able to model or having a machine have the ability to model any real-world behavior. We think with artificial intelligence more towards the intelligent side, culminating recently with chatbots and these large language models that have, in theory, these emergent behaviors that are really exciting.
So it's funny because we've been working on AI, Domo itself, and preparing for the conference. So we've been I think my daughter heard me talk about AI a lot the past few months, and she's like, "What is AI?" And so I had to take a minute, think about it, and how to answer in a way that she would get it. I was like, well, and locals would probably understand what I'm talking about. Like, I was like, why do we try to avoid I-15 during rush hour? So she's like, oh, we go there during rush hour and it's always congested. How have we known that? We've done that a few times, and those hours we have now learned that is not the best time to go on I-15. So like that exactly is AI. So it's like, oh, we use AI. So like not quite. That's human intelligence. But when machines start doing that, that's AI. So in a nutshell, it is the study of past data and being able to recognize patterns and being able to generate new data, whether it's forecasting, whether it's text recognition, anything, but it's basically, in a nutshell, study of past data to generate new data.
Yeah, and kind of going along with what Vishaka was illustrating there, I think the most basic definition of AI is just adding intelligence to machines and systems. And that's why I really love your example of the sundial or even the spell checker. And when I'm thinking about it in terms of the Domo product, it's how can we add intelligence to every nook and cranny of the product to give users a better experience, to make them more productive and give them better insights about their data.
Thank you. So based on these observations about what AI is, if I were to ask the question, who of you in the audience are doing AI, I hope all of your hands would go up. Everybody is. Everybody's doing it. Like if you use Magic ETL, you're using AI in some fashion. You're using an automated system that is helping you do things that you would normally have to do individually. So that leads me to my next point of, if you're doing AI in the real world for business and you're using structured data, not chat, not unstructured data, but if you're using structured data, naturally the quality of that data is really going to depend on, or the output for AI, it's really going to depend on the quality of that data. So we start talking about data readiness, especially when we're talking about driving AI into business spaces. So what is data readiness, and how do you know if you're ready for AI?
Yeah, so I'll start us off here. I think Vishaka, because she's a data scientist, will have a more nuanced answer of in terms of what looks like a really perfect data set. One thing that I will say is not only does your data need to be ready, but it's really important to have the metadata ready as well. So proper naming of data sets, really detailed descriptions, and kind of going beyond that for all of your Domo content. You're going to have a better experience with our AI platform if your content is clean and neat and has really clear naming and descriptions. One other thing I'll add to that is making sure there's not a lot of duplicates is one thing that's really beneficial, especially when we're talking about data sets. It's really easy to let your instance be filled with 30 data sets that all have similar schemas and similar names, and cleaning that all up are some really good first steps to getting everything prepared for data. What are your thoughts, Vishaka?
Oh, I can give a pretty long-winded answer, because when we actually work with customers and get them ready to get their data ready for AI, that makes up for the bulk of the time that we spend on. But I think there's a three-part prep for data readiness. One is metadata, like Brennan mentioned, which is, I think, very critical when you start using AI chat, and I'm sure Joe and team will also touch on that aspect. But also things like having the right metrics. What metrics do you care about? Having the right metrics, but also take it one step further. Like, what are the key KPIs, or what are the key questions you want answered? Not only have data about that, but what affects that? What other predictors or what other factors affect those metrics? Let's take sales, for example. Marketing, maybe leads or Salesforce data, other things. Everything, and we call it conceptual model, but map out everything that affects the outcome and start thinking about how you can bring the data in, how you can clean the data. And when we say clean, What do nulls mean? What does 0 mean? Is it rolled up to the granularity that you want it to? And then what does it take to bring in all the other data in so that we can then start building the platform upon which the AI will now reside? What are your thoughts on that?
So Joe, as we go to you, I would really love it if you could help our audience understand what Domo's actually doing with all that metadata. Like, why is it useful? Can you shed some light on that for us?
I can shed some light on that. Especially as we talk about AI chat and having a model that's trying to consume or at least parts of your data or that schema or the metadata around that data. Just like a person, if you don't provide that context, if they're not familiar with, if a coworker or someone you're trying to share your data with, if they're not familiar with it and that context around it, they're going to struggle to understand what's going on in that data. And sometimes models have some of those same qualities where if we don't give the model the right context, then it's going to struggle to give an appropriate answer or to even understand the questions. And so with AI chat specifically, it's very important to make sure we're providing the right semantic context to the model so that when a user comes in and asks a question, and maybe it's a domain-specific question, we know that in that metadata of that data set, there are some hints that help the model, extract out, okay, when they say this one word, maybe they don't mean this, the standard definition that everyone else uses. Maybe it's a medical data set, and maybe there's a medicinal terminology or definition that means something, slightly different. In every field, there's these, we all have our own words and our own dictionary, and having that context can really help the model, pick out that right bit of information from its training data set so that it can understand the question and then go to the data and say, oh, okay, here's what I need to query. Here's how I need to generate maybe a SQL query and query that data so that I can present the data in a way that makes sense contextually for that user and what they're asking.
Thanks.
I would say data readiness kind of changes depending on what the next best step for you in the AI world is. And so you kind of have to be honest about where you are today. If you're struggling to do descriptive statistics, if you can't say what's happened in the business and why it happened and what's happening right now, AI for you could be, we need to build a period over period chart where a user can draw a visual line in what sales look like over the last 4 months. And that's a model, that's a visual model for them. And so as you move up that journey or as you mature in that journey, and I work with a lot of customers and everybody's in different places. So be honest about where you are so you can figure out where the next best place to go is and what that would look like. And then you can organize your data readiness strategy around what is the next best thing for you to do.
Yeah, I'm going to add on to what Nate said. One of the things I think is really important when we talk about using AI and being ready for it is just setting expectations, right? A lot of people have a vision of AI that you can just send it any data and something magical will happen. And it's not really what happens behind the scenes, right? AI is a tool and there's different models that we use in AI to do very specific tasks. So just setting expectations with yourself and your project that you're trying to work on and with your company of what can AI actually do and how do we actually apply it. Then we can really start to look at, like Brennan was talking about, Vishaka, of what our data actually looks like. When we look at if our use case is more, a generative AI use case, our data needs to look differently than if we're doing predictive AI. So really setting that right foundation of what are we actually going to be doing with AI and how are we going to apply it is going to be really great in figuring out the next steps.
So thank you for your answers to that question. The next idea is how do you know, or how do you get started with AI? And I think some of you already talked about that, like figure out where you are in your AI journey and then know what steps are next. I think the keynote addressed that a little bit today too with risk. Maybe you don't want to take high risk questions and throw AI at it. Maybe we want to start out slow and low and easy and on things that If you have a little bit of a hallucination problem, it's not going to ruin your business. But I would love to hear all of your ideas too. How do you suggest somebody who's getting started with AI go about it?
I guess I can start this one. I don't know if this is the intent of the question, but I really think back to a little bit of what Vishaka mentioned on the previous question, which is really getting, having a clear idea of what you want to accomplish and then making sure you have the right data in Domo for that. And once that data is in place, you can start to do a little bit of AI chat. You can start to build, start looking at if you're looking at Domo workflows, doing some automations with it, with maybe a human in the loop. During the main stage event, there was a lot of talk about, starting small, starting with not your most important customers, but maybe doing a pilot program if you are going to do some automation. Using AI, and so I think that's a solid way to start. Not go straight, to production to hit everyone. I think we're doing the same thing with AI chat. As we announced that we're doing a closed beta, and we hope to be able to include many of you in that. But we do need to start small and make sure that what we're providing you is appropriate, and make adjustments as needed before we go to the broader market.
So once you identify a use case, and maybe we want to talk about how you identify a use case, I would want to know what are the 5 or 3 or 2 most useful pieces of information that you don't have today that you'd like to have. And let's start there. And then once we know what those pieces of information are, let's figure out how we would create that information. And let's figure out the right tool for the job. I think Gen AI, in a lot of ways, is a hammer looking for nails, and it's going to find some screws, and it'll do the job, but maybe at significant time and effort when there's a better tool for the job. So what's the useful information we need to have? And then let's design a solution around how we create that information reliably, with trust, with the lowest level of effort and the highest level of value.
Yeah, just to add on to that a little bit. So finding the right use case is really important. The other thing I'll add is, a lot of these things that AI can be really helpful for, we're already doing at some capacity, right? We're already doing some type of forecasting with data anytime we're looking at our data, right? And so we can start with these really simple examples of things that maybe we already are doing, and we can start to slowly add AI to it and just get better results and be quicker on the insights we're getting from it. So I really like forecasting as an example. That might be because I get to talk to Vishaka a lot, but that's something a lot of data scientists do very frequently is forecasting. And a lot of times they're doing things not with AI, they're doing it manually by creating their own sort of process to go and predict the future. So that's a great use case where you can start using a forecasting model and start applying it. And then kind of as you get that foundation and you start being able to forecast, then let's leverage AI even more, and we can start to provide our forecasting model more information about our business and what our needs are as well.
Yeah, I think to kind of summarize and build upon what even Christy said, well, we talked about data readiness, right? The data needs to be ready. We talked about how conceptually what are the key KPIs we care about, what are the factors that contribute to the KPI. But also when Christy just started, she said, make a matrix or talk about what are the high risk, low risk questions that AI can answer, and this was also touched upon in the general session today, was that there are some things, low risk things that AI can help you answer. There are some high risk things. It's writing down or taking note of what are the low risk things AI can answer for you. So as in Domo context, as an example, maybe you can start with building automated dashboards using AI, which can work as a platform or a foundation for you, and then you can curate your dashboards. The medium risk could be where you start, let's say, using universal models for your forecast. Now, the forecast, you have to vet out how accurate that forecast is. Can you make big business decisions on that? That's maybe medium risk. And having a fully automated workflow, relying on Domo right off the bat for a fully automated workflow is kind of high risk. So maybe, make a matrix of what is high risk, what is low risk for you, get your feet wet, and then kind of build upon that foundation, to summarize.
Yeah, kind of going along with what Vishaka just said. We've built the Domo platform, especially the AI side of it, to address two completely different personas. One being really technical, and that would, the data scientists. That's why we built a lot of our model management offerings and our AI service layer where you can build your own apps on top of it. You can hit model endpoints. But we've also built a lot of tooling for non-technical users. Our AI chat is going to be a super easy way to just jump in and start chatting with your data. The dashboard generation, card generation, eventually we'll have beast mode. Basically any piece of content in Domo, we're looking to leverage AI to help you build it. And that will, be available for both technical and non-technical users. So no matter where you're at in your journey of, sort of getting familiar with AI tools, we have some offering to help you.
So, Brendan, that moves right into the next topic here, of course. When I talk to customers about AI in Domo, and when I tell them that we do have a chat feature, and we do have like a code assistant, and we have automated insights, you can give it a data set and come up with these automated insights, and universal models, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's like, yeah. But what about security? And that's the big, huge thing. So I would love to hear more about all of the offerings that we have in Domo. And you guys have given us some sneak peeks about what those are, but also to tell us a little bit about how Domo has made those secure offerings and just really ensured that all of customers' data is protected and private in the way that they need it to be.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll let Joe, since he's the architect up here, kind of get into more of the nitty-gritty of the security. But we're going to roll out something we call Domo GPT really soon, which will basically keep all of your data in our environment. Nothing will be sent to any external models. And we've got something we call guardrails, and just a number of different technologies in place to make sure your data is secure. Plus, it's all backed by we inherit all the security of the platform itself. So, that's a little bit on the security. I think in terms of offerings, we've spoken a little bit about dashboard generation and content generation. I think there's going to be, when I think of like pros and cons for AI, especially in the BI space, the two big pros I see are a massive increase in productivity, and that's going to be where the content generation piece comes in. So what used to take you weeks or months in terms of dashboard creation, beast mode creation, that's going to shrink down to hopefully days or hours. And then the second piece, and besides productivity, I think the data insights and gleaning rich information from your data that you would otherwise need an in-house data science team to get, we're trying to put that at your fingertips. And I think that will be the two big pros that come out of our offerings around AI.
Yeah, I'll go back to security a little bit as well. Another thing we have is we have what we call our AI service layer settings. So we can see all the models that Domo uses to perform the actions that we're seeing inside the instance. The really nice thing is, for any reason, if you don't like the Domo models, you can swap to your own model at any time. So if you have a model that does text generation really well, and it's a model that you host in Databricks or somewhere else, you can use that model in place of our model at any time. So we understand that security is going to look different for every type of person and every use case. And so we really want to make sure that you can swap to use your own models. And when you do that, you can feel really secure about where the data is going. Kind of a nice benefit of swapping to your own models as well, because we're already talking about it, is these models, they're your own models, so you can train them on your own data. You can fine tune them however makes sense to yourself and use them within Domo as well and make sure you're secure while you're doing it.
Yeah, I think I like the model management, the AI services layer a lot, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But when I think of AI offerings, I think of end to end, right? We have multiple offerings to bring your data in, and I think in each of these categories, there's low code, there is pro code, so you have different options if you don't want to code, but if you want to do like dabble with the data a little bit, there are many options for that. If you want to code, if you want to be more hands-on with your data, there are many more options for that too. So thinking about data ingestion, data transformation, modeling, and visualization, different options in there. ETL, you're aware of views. You can make edits a little bit. You can use the beast mode generator or the is it called what is it called? The text to SQL. You can use that to create calculations there. In model management layer, if I am like, I want complete control over my model, you can use Jupyter Workspaces to build, train, and deploy your own models. If you would rather bring your model from outside, a pre-trained model by a different team or some other, you can use the model management layer or the AI services layer to connect that model from outside. Again, low code, pro code, and then connect that model in. For visualization, you can use dashboarding. If you want the output of the model to go elsewhere outside of Domo, there are options for the write back connector. So many different options. When I think of the breadth of Domo AI, low code, pro code, I think you can customize the capabilities of Domo to your needs.
Thanks. If I have time, I have two stories.
You have all the time you want, Joe. All the time.
So the first story is in regards to the security that we've built into our product. And this actually happened yesterday during the main stage general session. Hopefully I won't embarrass our head of application security if he's here today. We got a message on our internal messaging system that there was a security issue with AI chat, that it was allowing users to bypass data set permissions. And my immediate response was no way. There's no way this, of course I immediately jump in. We haven't released it to any customers yet. It's only on internal instances, but I jumped in, looked at his comments and said, started thinking about it a little bit, and we were discussing internally, and then suddenly the ticket disappeared. We reached out to him and clarified that that was a false alarm. He clicked the wrong URL and thought that he didn't have permission to a data, that he was getting results from AI. He had asked a question and the AI chat had very helpfully provided the answer, but it was ultimately a false alarm. The reason I was so sure that was a false alarm from the get-go is because we did build on top of Domo's security layer, and so anything that you try to, any data set that you interact with, you're going to get PDP. You're going to get those user permissions, trusted attributes. All of those powerful tools that we've built into the platform that will follow through as well to AI wherever you interact with it. So that's the first story. I'll try and be quick on the second one. When we first started looking at building the AI service layer and integrating with ChatGPT, one of the questions that we got from higher up was how are we so far behind on this? And maybe I'm introducing that the wrong way. I think there was a perception that some companies like OpenAI had gotten a head start on the AI front, and that we weren't making progress fast enough. However, it's actually been a very long journey. I've been at Domo for 5.5 years. I wasn't hired as an AI architect, but one of the first tasks I was given about 5 years ago was, okay, we need better tooling for data scientists. And that's kind of when our journey together, with the labs team and with Christy and with Shaka began, with two questions that kind of came out that I remember. One was how we need to give better tools for our data scientists to clean their data. We talked about that, and out of that kind of came the Jupyter integration, and also we use Explorer. Two main ways that you have to clean your data. But one of the other questions that came up, or one of the other needs that came up was, how do we enable our data scientists to show their work to the rest of the business? It's great if a data scientist can build a model, but now how do you put that into production? How do you, how do you actually use that model, or get the rest of your organization to take advantage of that model? And I think what we've released this year has kind of been the culmination of that with model management, as well as integrations with workflows, custom apps, Databricks. All of those things really give you a very powerful end-to-end solution to, if you have your own data scientist team or data science team to build models, you can build your own custom models. If you don't and you want to use universal models that will be coming later this year, we'll be providing those for you. And of course, all of those will be readily available on the AI service layer, so you can build your own custom applications on those.
So, and if I can talk just a minute about what Joe's talking about here. I had conversations with Joe and the labs team and lots of people 5 years ago about what are we going to do with data science? Like, is Domo going to do this, or are we not? And we made the compelling decision to do it with a lot of these ideas in mind about all of you are going to want to do advanced data solutioning in your future, and we want to be the platform where you can do that, at least to be connective tissue for the platforms that you might accomplish that in. So we've been building the framework to support AI and LLMs for 5 years now. It's one of the things I'm most proud of at Domo, because we saw what was coming before it happened, and we did it. And when ChatGPT came out, we were all ready. We were all ready to host those and do it securely and safely and smartly, which is one of my favorite things about Domo. Nathan, I'll let you talk now.
Just 2 quick comments. I think we're in a really interesting position because Domo can and often does play a role at so many different stages of the data lifecycle, from when you acquire it to when you need to organize it to when you need to visualize it or act on it, and all the advanced solutioning you do on the back end of that. And so there's a lot of places that we can put AI, and functionally we're looking at every single way that we can intelligently inject AI into those parts of the platform to let whatever the user was going to do anyway happen quicker, more easily, or more successfully. And then the second comment would be, we know that we need to offer our own version of these things so that everyone can experience the benefits of AI. But our general ethos, since I've been at Domo for the last 9 years, is to be very flexible and play nicely with whatever infrastructure or decisions or investments that our customers have already made. And so we can borrow from an LLM that you want to use. We can borrow from an LLM that you want to build. It wants to be an open framework and really be an integration tool and really kind of grease the wheels for you to get to AI solutions faster.
Thank you. All right. Of course, there's always additional considerations when we come with AI, but I also want to give our audience time to ask questions. So rapid fire, just one right after the other. I want, what's your favorite thing about AI and Domo?
Joe, you have the mic.
I don't know if you've all seen it yet, but I love the new dashboard creation. I think it's really cool. Sorry, if I can sneak in the other thing, it's the suggested answers in AI chat. Those things are amazing. I think you'll love them once you get a chance to try it out.
My favorite thing isn't what we build, it's how our customers use it. My favorite thing is to be on a call with somebody and see this really interesting or creative or fun way that they use the platform in a new novel scenario that I get to go share with other people and say, I heard that they did this and I think it applies here, and does that sound cool? And usually it's yes.
I think my favorite thing is, so I work with a lot of customers for my job, and I work with people who are non-technical, cannot write SQL, and which is fine. If you don't need to do all that for your job, that's great, but they are able to use Domo. People who are completely and utterly technical, they can use Domo. And there is each and every tool to cater to their needs. I sometimes write ETL in or I transform data in Jupyter Workspace. I can do that effectively. I can use Magic ETL and do that effectively. I can build a very fancy dashboard just by the native capabilities, and it comes out great. I can have an app, and it comes out great. So I think it's the customizing aspect, and it's meet you where you need me to be kind of aspect that I like about Domo.
Yeah, I just want to touch real quick on something Nathan brought up a couple of minutes ago, and that's just the flexibility of the platform. So with our model connectors, we already support connecting to OpenAI, Databricks, Amazon Bedrock. We just added Anthropic and Hugging Face, which has hundreds of thousands of models hosted. So we play nicely with all of these other platforms that have been doing AI for years as well. And I just love that fact that you can bring in all the cool stuff everyone else has built and then put it on top of your Domo content.
Yeah, I also love the flexibility that we see. I really like it when we talk about our AI services and the fact that you can bring your own model and replace it with ours. I was having a conversation just earlier today where someone was talking about forecasting. They had this engagement for like 3 years, or where they were trying to build out a forecasting model that worked really well for them. And they were really concerned that they wouldn't be able to use it. You know, we saw main stage using forecasting inside of Analyzer and inside of ETL. And just the concern that we had of, you know, did I just waste a 3-year engagement? The answer is no. Like, because of how flexible it is, we can just kind of plug and play and use your own model. And I love that flexibility. I love that we can do that.
Thank you. We would love to hear from the audience. Does anyone have any questions? Do you have a mic runner? I see questions here and here.
Hello. Yep. Cool. Sounds good. Thank you. So yesterday I was in one of the breakout session with Cardinal Sons. So I was pretty fascinated about that. So the question what I have is whether the Domo AI can probably parse through those Cardinal Sons and probably say, hey, the data set is ready for AI to take questions, like semi-ready, or is it like, yeah, you know, you're probably like 50% there, you still have some sense to actually go and clear out, and so that it's like getting to ready. So is that capability coming in some sort of?
Yeah, I can take that. So we are building some AI readiness tools to give you. It'll basically be, we'll kind of give you a score of how ready your data set is, and then we'll give you a bunch of suggestions on things we think you can do to improve your score. So we don't have like a definitive date for that yet, but yes, it's on the roadmap, and we definitely want to give all of you the tools to get your data ready, because we know that can be a laborious task. So
got it. One more tiny question.
Yeah.
So can I like turn on or turn off like data capabilities, AI capabilities per data set? Do we have like that kind of a privilege? Like, I don't want all the data sets to have data AI capabilities. I would probably just say like pick and choose. I say only these data sets I want it to be turned on, and these I don't want it to be turned on.
So you can look at this in a couple ways and at different hierarchies. And so the most common experience I think we're going to see from users with AI chat is to do it at the dashboard level, because it's certified content, it's probably certified data sets, it's been validated by somebody and we can trust it. And so yes, AI is going to perform more reliably on that, but you're already constraining which data sets it's allowed to look through for that. And then at the global level, you can also pin data sets. So you can select, here's the types of data sets it should prioritize or preference when we do a global search across the Domo environment.
Got it. But will there be any grant level access where I say certain groups could actually do the Domo AI and certain group of people don't do that by their roles or permissions?
My basic answer is yes, and do you want to add some context?
Yeah, at a user level, you can say, okay, yeah, this user can, has access to AI chat. But you can't say this user can use AI chat on this data set, but not on this. Not today.
Okay, that works. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for answering.
Interesting feedback, though. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, quick question. How do we manage the expectation from the leadership? in a company about AI? Because it looks like everybody wants to be AI, and we have to. I have also heard that, oh, we don't need you because we can write Domo reports using ChatGPT. So to that level, how do you manage that?
I can take it. I think to me, it comes back to that risk matrix. What do you want to rely on AI for your business? What kind of how critical that answer is to you? I would say keep a human in the loop, and that's the justification for that. I think we have ways to go before we completely rely on AI. So yeah, it depends on the risk matrix. The low risk can definitely go to AI, automated building dashboards, and then you can customize them. Do you want Domo, automated Domo, or any system to make highly critical decisions for you yet? So I think it boils down to that for me.
Oh, was there another one?
Following up on the expectation, and this is two-part. So a while ago, our nice data science team said, we are doing machine learning. And the CEO said, that's no good, you got to do AI. Is there a difference? Is there really a difference? Is it just, I just don't know how to answer that.
I think, and our PhD here will have more insights, but I see it, AI is an umbrella. Data science, ML is a subset. So, you could argue it's the same thing. You could argue ML is a more targeted AI, and AI
Is bigger.
The bigger, is like the bigger bucket.
And then on expectations, so I understand what you say, start simple and make sure that it works. So I'm trying to set expectations for the CEO. So I'm hoping that something like, we're a very transactional oriented company. Tell me all the clients whose last 10 days volume is unusually high or low. That would be a simple one maybe. Versus using our risk score, decide whether we should send things to our risk center or automate the approval based on the margin that we make on each product. Still simple, or?
I think go ahead.
Yeah, that second one, you're talking about orchestration.
That's like three
then.
different things
Yeah, so
connected.
one is just a question, just answering a question. The second one is about orchestrating
Analyzing.
several AI events that happen sequentially.
Right.
So of course that's a lot more complicated,
Okay.
but we should definitely talk more about that one because that's where you get to really, really interesting use cases.
Yeah.
And I think
Valuable.
one of the things that people mistake though is they think that both of those questions can be answered by a chatbot.
Okay.
And they miss that there's a depth and a complexity to those that are vastly different.
I will follow up.
Awesome.
Flo, I think there's one right here, Flo.
You want to ask it? Then I'll.
Is me?
Right here.
Okay, I'll go real quick. So as we're looking to implement chatbots to give us answers for our franchises, we are excited to be able to use your future model to be able to say, hey, where's this information? Have it point to a correct card. The issue that I'm facing is how to face data that isn't in Domo. For instance, our LMS system, words that were said during a training video on Zoom. We'd like to ingest that information and give a single chatbot solution. But as far as I can tell right now, it looks like my only solution is to use multiple different chat interfaces or models.
Oh, we have an answer for you.
That's awesome.
Maybe not an immediate answer, but we definitely have a goal of being able to bring in more types of data because I think AI really does unlock insights from other types of data. Besides, we talk a lot about structured data and tabular data at Domo. But I really do believe that a lot of the advancements in AI, and it's not necessarily new stuff. There's, NLP is a very mature field, but I definitely see it as a next step, being able to start pulling in, raw text or your meeting transcriptions, or your customer user reviews, and being able to build data flows and workflows based on those data sets. And even be able to interact with those data sets with AI chat directly in Domo.
And
Anything else, Nolan? Sorry.
The architecture behind that is on the roadmap. Right, it's officially on their Domo roadmap, so it's coming. Well, we've got about 10 seconds left. Oh, sorry.
Questions?
Go ahead.
Yeah, was just interested in the universal models and the text and sentiment analytics, and wondering just like how is that going to be topic modeling? Is it aspect-based sentiment analysis? It was like a very quick demo in the video that they showed, so I was just wondering if you could elaborate a little bit more what that would entail.
Yeah, you want to take this, Vishaka?
Yeah.
I think we have 3 on the roadmap. One is going to be a forecasting model. It is going to be, you can plug in your data, you can get forecasts, you can replace our default model by your model if you want to bring in some other model. The second one is going to be the PII model, where you can, there are several ways you can use it, but it's basically has the capability of identifying PII in data sets across the instance, also on text. So that's the second one. And the third one is sentiment analysis, which is probably going to start simple. So, getting sentiment from like a reviews column or a star rating column, and then give you like slices and dices based on, this product has more positive reviews versus this product has some negative reviews, which store is performing better than the other, which store is running better than the other, those kind of things for sentiment. And then, then there is going to be outlier and anomaly detection too, and all of these, we're figuring out ways to integrate it back to the product. So not just being able to plug in a data set and use it one-off, but how can we integrate it back to the product? Like, how can forecasting be part of analyzer? How can PII be part of governance? How can sentiment be part of other text that resides in the data? How can outlier and anomaly detection be integrated within what you see in your charts?
And if anybody wants more information or more updates or more detailed answers, please talk to us afterwards. Also, if any of you were listening today and feel absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of new AI stuff that Domo's coming out with, and you don't know how to get started or where to get started, we do have a dedicated services team that can help you do that. One of the things that we do is roadmaps. We have small, medium, and large engagements. You don't necessarily have to want a solution to work with us. There are lots and lots of ways that we can help, and we love it. So please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.